helping people and thinking outside of yourself in your own world, because we do have our own lives, like you said. Yeah, 5 kids, a wife, and a business. I can only imagine. And Jason, the guy that you were talking about, I mean, he has 6 kids.
Yeah, I
He's
saw it.
going to
Six
school.
kids.
He has 6 kids going to school full time. He's doing YouTube as well, so that keeps him busy. A wife and a full time business. I mean, he is, and oh man, it's just crazy. But when your life gets so busy and you actually look outwards and trying to help people and volunteer and do these things like that, that is like the goal, to help other people, to give your time back to the world. Like, I have so many ideas for this and the business that I've already started things, like just obviously the general thing of what this whole goal of this podcast is, but even with the business of like, I want to, oh, if you help me get work, I'll give you $100, a referral thing. Like, I'm trying to give back as much as I can, because I think, like you said, is you don't want to be older and you don't want to regret these things. And so it's not, I used to think like, when I make it big, I'll give back, but like, what if you never, what if you never do? What if you never become a billionaire to buy everyone's like school
It
tuition?
doesn't take
Yeah,
money.
yeah, exactly.
It takes time.
It takes
It takes
time. That's
interest.
exactly what I learned. It takes time and the thoughts of doing it now. And every little way you can give back now helps. Like, I have a classmate that struggled with math, so we'll get together, and of course it helps me too. But I'll help him and tutor him and do these things that can help each other and grow each other. Just because, like you said, it's just the time that you can commit. It's like, again, like with how busy things can be. My brothers, I never hang out with them, but I try at least once a month just to, hey, let's go out to a movie, let's go do something, so I can spend time with them, talk to them, see what's going on in their mind, and just encourage. It's just those things that we can do today. And that's why I absolutely wanted you to come on, is because I think you're a great example of that. Is it's just volunteering my time to give back, to help these people, to help these kids, because you're right. I think everybody has potential. Every single person has potential. It's just like, I think back to when I was at my lowest and had to make that flip, how hard it was. Like, it is hard to get to
Oh
that
yeah.
point when you want to let all the negativity go and pursue happiness and try to be the greatest human being you possibly can
Yes.
be. That is hard. But if you can sit there and find somebody that's at that point and you help them and you're there for them and you encourage them and you show them the great things in life, then one day the goal always is to make sure they get that switch to flip. That way they can be that positive human
And the
being.
selfish part, what you grow, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I will. And this is not patting Ray Rosen on the back, please. I never, ever, ever want somebody to think that. But there's a hidden organization that my wife and I belong to. I've belonged to it for, I'm thinking, 18 years. It's, if I get emotional, there's a reason. But anyway, it's called the Bannock County Board of Guardians. This is a program that there's no one really knows about it because of the HIPAA type law type thing. But this is a program that is for people that have been abused by family members or whatever, and adult protection comes in and takes them away, or they mentally are not capable of making medical decisions, financial decisions, or whatever for themselves, and they really don't have much of a life. I'm just share this story because how important it is, but I gained more than what she did. I did get a young lady. We're a board of several people, and so we're legally, I mean, a court awarded guardians of these people, but we work as a
A group.
body. But each one of us take on what we call a ward, and so we spearhead that ward. I had a young lady that I got that her parents had passed away. She was adopted. They were older. No one even knew she lived in the home. She was schizophrenic and everything. And she started howling at the moon and all that stuff. Her mother was taken away and put in a nursing home. And when the neighbors realized it and they got in there, the dog was dead. The toilets was just overflowing because this girl didn't know how to take care of herself at all. She was put in a mental institution. Um, And then there are people that act as guardians, paid guardians, and her guardian actually was taking advantage of her financially, and so adult protection came and brought her to our board. We took her on,
Dang.
and then I took her on. When I first met her, um, her hands were clasped together and her head was down, and she rocked back and forth, and For her sake, I'll call her Mary. So I'd say, Mary, what do you want? And she would just whisper, I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. Um, and I found out that she did have a home that was close to the college. It was an older, kind of wore down home, but it was awarded to her. And the money she was getting was coming from a retirement that was her father's. And then she received a little Social Security. Now, on our board, we may take care of their finances, but financially, we don't give to the
Right.
program because they have their own. We just help manage it for them. But anyway, so I wanted to move her home. I went and saw the home. Of course, it was a total mess, needed completely cleaning. The director of where she lived um, uh, wasn't a mental institution at that time, it was kind of like a halfway house.
Right.
Refused. The doctor refused. Even our board refused. And I said, what do we have to lose? This woman has nothing. All she
Right.
wants to do is go home. Her capability was anywhere from 13 on down, depending on what it was. And she was so bad that if like the bottle of water that's sitting on the table, if I moved it 1 inch, she would freak
Um,
because you have to move it back. You can't do it. So I finally got it okay that I could get her home, and I got into it was called independent living that would come in 1 hour at night, 1 hour at noon, and 1 hour in the morning, help her get dressed, help her get ready for bed, help her clean. But as I met with Mary, almost said her name there, and her mental capacity, I told her, I said, now, Mary, you have to do everything I say because if you don't, I have to bring you back. You have to keep your home clean. You have to, keep yourself clean because she couldn't even change her clothes because that would freak her out also.
right.
So we did move her home. I put a little peephole in the window so that if somebody went to the door and they knocked because I may need something repair or whatever, they would tell her Ray sent me. And that was the only way that she would open the door.
Really.
And I did have her go out once a week grocery shopping with independent living. They would help her. Other than that, I put TV in there, I put radio in there. She did nothing. She didn't want any of that stuff. She put thousands and thousands of puzzles.
Really. Really.
Amazed me. It's what she enjoyed doing. So it may not be the type of life I wanted, but she was happy that she was home. She stayed home for almost 13 years.
Wow.
And
Wow.
to think that she would have been in a mental institution just, I mean, before
Curled
she
up.
died, at least she wouldn't talk too much, but if you asked her how she was doing, she would give you a little bit. She's okay and doing fine, or these things that she desired. But to know that you can have an effect on people's lives is not just for them, as selfish as it is. I learned so much from her.
Right.
She was awesome. She ended up getting cancer and passing away a couple of years ago. But it's not just taking time out of our life to give. What you can get out of it is just overwhelming on what it can do for your life. And it's interesting too. I chuckle at people because I find the busiest people are the people that are most willing to give.
Right. I agree.
And they have no time to give, but yet they can find
They
it. Yet
exactly.
they find it, and they join our groups or other organizations. It
Mm,
amazes me.
that's
It's
incredible.
awesome.
That is
It's awesome.
absolutely.
So it's important that we all do. We all take time to be involved.
I agree. I agree. My grandpa used to always say, "Is you have time." We mentally think we don't. And sometimes you are constrained. Like I said, I mean, just going back real quick to that example of my friend that has 6 kids and going to school full time, running a business, wife, all those things, is he's able to take time to give me rides home when I need it, on like when I have things, or when he want to have him come over and do a podcast, or to sit and talk for an hour or two after class, to be able just to kind of catch up and help me if I'm going through something or I need advice with whatever it may be. It's realizing how he will take time to do that, even though how
Hmm.
busy he is, because we really do have our own time. We control our own time.
Exactly.
We really, really
We
do.
can do what we want if we want to do it bad enough.
And I hate it. It's like, oh, I can't see a grandpa this weekend. I'm too busy. I'm too busy. And it's like, like I realize too is it's like it's just the matter. It's like when you say like, okay, maybe you really don't have time to go up to grandpa's house for 8 hours. Okay, you can't sit and talk,
Yeah,
but to go up there for 30 minutes during your lunch break or something and visit with him, like that will mean so much more. And especially hearing you like to donate so much time.
well, I really don't. It's great. I laugh when you talk about grandparents. When my grandkids come over, and I love them dearly, and we have so much fun, and I'm thankful they love being with us because they love coming over every weekend. Grandpa is known for his popcorn.
Popcorn.
And so they were joking the other day that my grand says, well, Grandpa, when you die, I'll make sure I come to the grave and throw popcorn on
Oh,
it.
jeez.
But creating that relationship is so awesome.
Exactly, and that's what matters. And
Yeah, it's awesome.
well, I hope somebody can learn from this, and I hope somebody, like you said, regardless of what position you're in, if you're wealthy or not, if you have time or not, find something to give
To
back
give.
because we all are completely different. You know, we have completely different thing, completely different financial time restraints. We're just so different in so many different ways, but we can give back. We just have to look in ourselves and what we do and give back. Whether it's like, and I'm in I already own my film business and I'm in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's normally not normally do it. You get your degree, then go on to pursue it or whatever. But I feel like I have a lot of knowledge that I can give back
Exactly.
and sit back like, hey, you're thinking about doing a film give? Like, let me talk to you for an hour real quick so I can just kind of give you some like some experience with clients and things like that because college does have a tendency of teaching you the trade and not really real life situations
Mm-hmm.
because it's you'll when you have a couple of those you can really give back. But giving back in absolutely any kind of way, time, financial, what, like you said, it doesn't have to be financial things, but any way you can think of giving back, I would persuade anybody to do it because it doesn't have to be,
No,
like going down to the soup kitchen for 8 hours. You don't have to do that. But if you're talented, if you have things that you don't need, or if you have ways that you can help, even with family and friends, I feel like in this world we're so, I'm doing this, like you said, like I have family that I haven't seen or so we'll see 2 times a year and we live in the same town.
yeah,
I'm the very same way, but it's
yep,
reaching out, trying to go out, or seeing that your uncle is posting a thing. Does anybody know how to do drywall? I'll pay him or whatever. But hey, I'll come over and talk with you and help him do drywall for a couple hours. Or when your grandpa calls, I all this dirt, there's water pouring underneath the house. Blah 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 blah. Do you know anybody? Well, I'll come up and. Well, granted, he made me come up, but but
exactly.
it's just being willing. So I think that's the biggest thing is we can hit is
That's
it's
great.
not you'll never get to a place that's like you said, this perfect place where I'll have all the money and time to give. You'll always have something. You'll always be busy. You'll always have things. So make that change now, like today. Give back, help somebody in any kind of way you
And do it.
possibly can,
Just
and
do
do it.
it.
Just do it.